Welcome back to the Perfect Father podcast. We're going to do our second reflection on Psalm 23 today, and it's a joy to share with you. As I've mentioned in the past, God has put you in my way, so I am grateful to share with family, friends, colleagues, people that I've met just a handful of times, and it's a joy to share with you. And, I was thinking I should probably talk a little bit about why I call it the Perfect Father podcast. One of my sons was laughing at me, basically saying, "Are you calling yourself the Perfect Father?" Absolutely not. He called it glazing. I guess that's a new term that's being used. This is about him. He is the perfect Father who fathers us perfectly. There's a lot of songs written about he's the good father, and he is absolutely good, and he's perfect. And when I think about him being the perfect father, I think of a quote from J.I. Packer. It says that, like us, he is personal, but unlike us, he is great. And I love that quote. He is immanent. He's with us, always with us, our very present help. But he's transcendent. Unlike us, he is great. And I'm kind of an all or nothing guy when it comes to understanding this. He either is or he's not. And I believe that he is. And my life is a lot better believing in that reality. And I do believe it's reality. So I encourage you to deepen your trust that he's the perfect Father who fathers us perfectly. He will prove himself to you. He is faithful. Like us, he is personal. Unlike us, he is great. He's worthy of our trust. So we're going to talk today about us in Psalm 23, just one incredibly powerful phrase. And our invitation is to contend for contentment. And Psalm 23, verse 2 says, he makes us lie down in green pastures. And our invitation is to contend for contentment. Paul said that he learned the secret of contentment. It is learned behavior. It's something that you and I have to practice. He learned, it says in Philippians 4, the secret of contentment in all circumstances. And this is incredibly powerful. It's really a superpower, contentment is. I think of a Samuel Taylor Coleridge quotes. He said that we can't hope from outward forms to win the passion and the life whose fountains are within. Contentment frees us from being ruled by circumstances, being captive by circumstances. It's real freedom. And it's learned and it's practiced. And honestly, it's practiced and learned significantly in challenging circumstances. When you think about Paul saying this, he said, whether I was abased or abounding, this is a guy that at certain times during his ministry was worshipped like he was a Greek god. Of course, he didn't allow that. In the next moment, he's being stoned, imprisoned, affirmed, and then persecuted. And he learned the secret of contentment. He would go on to say in that passage that I've learned that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I remember my early days right out of college, I worked at a Christian school, and so we were in this competing in football and basketball and volleyball, and often because it was, I guess, a Christian school league, you would see these banners hung up for the team. I can do all things through Christ who strengthen me. And I would always kind of chuckle because I said, can you lose? Can you fail? Can you be cheated? Can you be persecuted and handle that through Christ who strengthens you? Because that's really what Paul is saying here. And this is where we practice it in challenging circumstances, and it becomes this superpower that circumstances no longer dictate our peace and our joy because we're content. So our prayer begins And I want to say this is our prayer, right? We're not, when we talk about principles, I said this, I think, last time. It's He that works in us both to will and to do His good pleasure. He provides the conviction to change. That is a validation that He's in us, but also the power to change. So we begin with a prayer asking Him to empower us to contend for contentment as we more deeply trust that we are right where we're supposed to be. And this, I love the phrase, and we're going to talk about it several times, I am right where I'm supposed to be. That is the reality of He makes me lie down in green pastures. We all have a mutual challenge, and that's the allure of greener pastures, right? The grass is always greener on the other side. I like to say, and we get there and we find out it's astroturf, has no nourishment. The grass is always greener, and when we're in that state of being discontent, always wanting things to change, circumstances to change, it's dictating our contentment, our peace, and our joy, we find ourselves disappointed. We find ourselves resentful, maybe blaming people for where we are. Maybe we're jealous that we think, someone has it better than we do, or just despondent or hopeless. And this can happen as we are constantly caught in this allure of wanting something different, more, better. And we can shrink quickly, spiral quickly into a miserable small world, and also cause others to be miserable around us. So the invitation is to trust that He makes us lie down in green pastures for our benefit, our mutual benefit, for my benefit, and so that I can benefit others. So contending for contentment, learning contentment, begins really with humility, acceptance, surrender. We could say that several different ways, and it starts with our first reflection in this devotion is humbly accepting that I don't possess the understanding of where I should be placed. He makes me lie down in green pastures. I don't have the capacity to decide what is a green pasture for me. It's He who gives me those desires, right? It's He who gives me those ambitions. He is leading and guiding me. He is making me lie down in green pastures. So I have to accept that. So it begins with humility. I don't really understand, but I trust that You are making me lie down in green pastures for my benefit, even when I don't feel it, I don't see it. This is a really powerful image here of lying down. It just really hit me today when I was kind of going over what I was going to share with you concerning this devotion. Lying down is not ruminating, it's not pacing, it's not fighting. It is lying down. There's a peace there. And I was thinking of Jesus' words. I think it's in Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my burden is easy and my yoke is light. This is a picture of contentment. I can lie down. My soul can be at rest. This meditation, contending for contentment, begins with this understanding, of first of all, that, like I said, the humility, but also the celebration, the worshipful meditation that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. For me, this journey began of writing these devotions years ago. Like I said, some of you have been receiving them for years, and it was at a difficult time. I was going back to school, and I'd in my early 50s, so that had its own challenges with technology, and it was by distance, and my job had been phased out, so I was a full-time student and trying to just survive, and really starting with some of these, what I call non-agenda worship, taking ownership of these realities. And some of you have heard me say this, but one of the things that I'll say, and it includes this term, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, is I'm fully loved. I'm fully accepted. I am fully forgiven. I am fully cared for. I am right where I'm supposed to be. And I would sit and still do, sit in his presence, and before I get to anything else. And it's really the invitation, that template of the Lord's Prayer that he gives us starts with, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That is non-agenda worship. That's worshipfully reflecting. It's taking my thoughts away from my struggles, my failures, my stressors, my responsibilities that are before me that day, and focusing on him and just saying, I am forgiven. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. He's made me lie down in green pastures. He is the perfect Father who fathers me perfectly. And grounding myself in that assured reality, and also responsibly directing my emotions, where now I'm in a place of contentment, and I'm in a place of assurance. I'm in a place of hope, and a place of peace, in this reality that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm responsible to direct my emotions. And I do this through worshipful reflections. The one that I come back to constantly is, I am right where I'm supposed to be. And then we start to frame it. This reflection goes on to say, what does that mean? Consider what it means to be in green pastures, as a place of nourishment, as a place of growth, as a place of opportunity, as a place of support. I'm the one who frames that in his reality. If not, the tendency is going to be, in my human nature, in my fallen nature, in concert with evil, I'm going to start framing it in a way that spirals into darkness, like resentment, self-pity, jealousy, despondency, all of those things. I can frame it that way. Or I can say, you know what? He made me lie down in green pastures. It is a place of growth. It is a place of nourishment. It is a place of opportunity. It is a place of support with those that he's put around me. I was listening to a friend of mine last night, and I'm going to give a shout out to John, who has gone through a very difficult year, and I've known him, I suppose, the entirety of the year, maybe more than that, and just watched him, and he was saying, this has been really hard, and it's been a place of tremendous growth, and as much as I want some things to change, I also don't want to lose what I've gained, which is a deeper sense of trust in him, growth and strength. And I've watched him, and he's an unbelievable dad to his children. If they watch this, I'll leave their names out, but a shout out to them. He shared things that you have said, and it's not been easy for you, and I've just been wowed by their conversations and their wisdom and their understanding. I was thinking of, this is kind of a paraphrase of something Henry Nouwen said. He said, I trust no person who's not been through great pain. See, when you and I come out of trying places, dark places, challenging circumstances, and we learned the secret of contentment, I want to hear what you have to say. That truth, that reality has been refined. And I'm not talking about perfection. Those of you who know me, if you're on my short list of safe people, I will call and I will rant. But I won't stay there. I can't stay there, because it can get darker. I was listening to Jordan Peterson. He and his daughter were doing a podcast. This is right before he got sick, and I'm still praying for Jordan to come back. I really miss him. And his daughter, I think it's Michaela, they were doing this call-in show, and people were calling in, and they were talking about some real tragedy. I'm talking about loss of family members and children and disease and all the stuff they've been through. And Jordan said something that shocked me, and in a good way. He said, one of the things he says to people is, it can get worse. this trying circumstance, if you don't handle it, and one of the ways, I'm encouraging you and I to handle it with seeking and contending for contentment, it can get worse. And he even said, it might just be a tragedy. That might be the best outcome in this situation, but it could become hell. It could become so dark and such despondency. And I've been in those places. And I don't want to go there anymore. I don't have to go there anymore. So as I'm going through it, it might just be, especially in the really tough places, it might just be, I'm just getting through the next week, or I'm just getting through the next day, or I'm just getting through the next hour. And I'm trusting in your faithfulness. I'm trusting that you are forging something in me that I do not see. I'm trusting that what you're doing in me is going to benefit me and others in the long run. And I contend for contentment in that space. Our reflection further leads us to imagine days ahead, or just this day ahead, of what contentment can look like. I can be fully present in each and every moment to enjoy it and have an impact, rather than fantasizing about being elsewhere. Imagine how many times that desire to be elsewhere takes us out of the present moment. I don't have to be there. In contentment, I can enjoy others. I can have a positive impact. I can be right where I am, fully present. I can experience and express His goodness, not rushing to the next thing. I can face each challenge as an opportunity to grow and witness His faithfulness. I don't have to try to numb or escape disappointment or discomfort. I can be in that moment content that I will see His goodness. He will be faithful as I face it and I walk through it. I invite you to contend for contentment. He makes us lie down in green pastures. We are right where we are supposed to be. I love you. See you next time.